I was watching this video earlier this week about like typical like guys who are like on self-improvement and what they really want in life and the typical changes they go through. And I was like, yo, I kind of relate to this and that. And I remember a couple months back when I was like researching like self-improvement stuff because I was reading a book on like psycho-cybernetics, and like I actually got the book recommendation from that same forum. It was on Reddit, and the guy was talking about like one of the biggest things you can do in life is become proactive. And I thought about that over and over again, right? He was like talking about the difference between being proactive and reactive. Like a reactive person is the type of person who like waits for everything to come to him and the life comes to him, and the opportunities might come but they might not. The girls might come but they might not. And it's like he essentially is like a hermit, and he just sits around and he doesn't actively go for anything in his life. He just waits for things to happen, and that's not a good way to live because you won't get as much success as you would want. It's like you're like waiting for way too much things. Like you're essentially not in a position of like you're not in charge. You're receiving rather than going after things, right? And the other one's obviously proactive, which is the opposite, right? Like he's the type of person who goes after the girl he wants, starts the business that he wants. He learns the things that he needs to learn. If he wants to make this much money, he goes and learns how to make that much money. He doesn't just go, okay, I'll just wait for a job to come, and if I get lucky, I get lucky. It's like all of that. When I was reading, I was like, yo, this sounds so true, and it makes sense. Most of like these entrepreneurs and these rich guys and these successful guys or whatever the case may be, they're all proactive. They're not waiting around waiting for things to happen to them. They actively they want something, they go for it. They figure out okay, what's the quickest way for me to get from point A to point B, rather than being like whatever, right? And so in this video, the guy was talking about how like he would go to the gym and he would start his business and he would try to get with more girls or whatever, like the typical self-improvement shit for guys, right? And he said one of the biggest things was him just being like proactive, and it makes sense. And like, so with the gym, you obviously need to go get yourself into the gym and like work out and like learn the mechanisms and form and everything, and over time you'll get the success, right? And the same thing with business. You won't just fall upon a business. You won't just become a CEO by chance, right? Like by random. You need to like be like, okay, what does the market need? What can I provide? This and that. How can I start this business? How much money do I need? Who do I need to pay? What do I need to learn? This and that, right? Whatever, right? You need to go actively do things. They won't just happen to you. You won't just like I said, become a CEO randomly, right? And same thing for like even something as simple as girls, where it's like I feel like in this day and age, guys are very, very off put by women. If you think about like back in the day, these guys would like there's lots of like reasons for guys being the way they are nowadays, and I'm one of them. I'm not even making fun of them. I'm like this too. Like I don't like actively going up and approaching women because it's not even like that I'm scared to talk to people. It's just not very normalized in this day and age. Like back then, that's the only thing they could do. Like everybody in a village, the average guy had to go get a girlfriend and marry her, this and that, whatever. But nowadays you have social media where you can just slide up on a girl. You have dating apps where like you can just meet women online, and you don't have to like approach them. You can just text whatever you want to text, and like there's lots of implications involved with like why men aren't actively approaching women. Maybe it's a fear or whatever, right? But it's like if you constantly have this mindset of like me, I even do this with like women. I'll be like, oh yeah, no, that girl, she keeps looking at me, or she smiled at me, this and that, but like she can come talk to me. And it's like that is so ridiculous for me to say, because it's like that's not like for me to be like on a self-improvement and to be like a very masculine man, for me to be like, yeah, let this woman come talk to me. Like what kind of bullshit is that? Like you have to also remember like all the dynamics involved. Like women have tons of options, because God, even if I'm interested in her and she's interested in me and I'm waiting for her to come to me, I'm gonna lose, because she's not gonna do that. Women aren't very proactive. They aren't very masculine in the sense that they're gonna go after what they want, right? Because if I don't go up to her, some other guy will. And that's just how it is. Men are very competitive. If I'm not doing it, some other guy is. If I'm not making money, some other guy is, right? And so when I have this mindset, and I'll tell myself this, I'm like, yeah, she can come out, talk to me, whatever, right? And it has happened a couple of times where like girls will come and talk to me, and like it doesn't feel as good as you would think. Like, because it's typically the girls that you don't really want that come and talk to you, whatever. And like even if you do want them, it's like, damn, like I really let this girl take control of the situation. Like the ball's in her court essentially, because she came up and talked to me. She was like the one wearing the pants. And it's like, again, like I've had it happen a couple of times, and every time has never felt as good as like if I were to go do it. But it's like I don't do it enough for me to even like compare it, because I don't know. I have the fear too, like every other guy. Nonetheless, it's like being proactive is definitely a mindset, and I feel like a lot of people are not born proactive or reactive, but I do feel like it's based off a little bit based off genetics and like circumstances, like nurture versus nature and all that. But I do think it's a trait that you can build upon. If you understand how important it is to become proactive based off like previous success, then you really, really understand. Because I feel like even right now, in some cases in my life, I am quite reactive and I don't like that, and that's what I'm working on changing. But once I started like comparing it to like other things that I've done where I was proactive and I've seen the success, it's easier to compare and realize that being reactive is definitely not the way I want to continue my life. Like I want to be proactive in everything, not just some things, and be reactive in others. Like I was, when I was fat and I was like, okay, I need to change my body. If I just sit around and play video games and do this and that, I'm not gonna get any skinnier. I'm not gonna ever feel good about my body. I'm not gonna, like, I was getting girls even though I was fat when I didn't realize it, right? I was like, I would always be like, oh, these girls don't want me, I'm too fat, I'm too ugly, I'm too short, whatever. And then I would find out later, like when I lost weight or whatever, they would be like, oh yeah, I did find you attractive even when you were fat. I was like, what the fuck? Like, it really is your own mind playing games on you, but you do feel a lot more confident when you are in shape and you do feel better about yourself and you are healthier, so it makes sense. Nonetheless, I'm talking too much, but you need to, like, when I started going to the gym, that was a proactive state of mind, right? I was like, okay, nobody's gonna come lose this weight for me, nobody's gonna do this for me, whatever, right? And like you could see it if you just like look at how other people live their lives and you see things that they're lacking in, you can understand why, like, that they have a reactive mind, and you can, like, you can learn from other people's mistakes, right? It's important to make your own mistakes. Like, mistakes aren't bad, but if you can learn from other people, then go ahead and do that. Because like I've seen people who like complain about money, like, whether they don't have enough or they don't even have an income, and I see them spending. Like, how can you, like, some people will literally have no money coming in and they'll be like, yo, I'm going broke, I can't afford my credit card, this and that, I'm in consumer debt. And it's like, so go get a job. And they're like, no, it's too much work, blah, blah, this. It's like, so you're just gonna wait for a job to fall into your lap, you're just gonna keep going more into debt, you're just gonna keep spending more money. And or like on the same side, like, you think you're just gonna become financially literate, you don't understand why and how money works, you don't understand how businesses operate, and why you keep buying everything you see like off Amazon and this and that. It's like, you're not financially literate, that's why you are in debt. You have no income, and that's why you can't afford your credit cards. Or it's like, you're fat and you're complaining that you're depressed. Or like, there's so much ways and people are just reactive and their life sucks, right? And they'll complain about, and the thing I hate about some people is when they complain about things and they do nothing to actively change it. Like, don't tell me and complain to me that you're fat, and then I tell you, oh, go to the gym or watch what you eat, and then you go, nah, I don't feel like, shut the fuck up. Like, don't tell me that you're fat. Don't tell me you're poor if you're not actively looking at how to become financially literate, how to build wealth, how to get a job, or just even, like, it doesn't matter if you're getting a job making $15 an hour or if you're like, some big CEO. It doesn't matter. Don't complain about being poor if you're not actively willing to do the work, right? And that's like the biggest thing. Like, humans are so lazy and reactive, and like the bar is so low for you to be better than most humans. And it's like not even like a egotistical thing to say. It's just people are so afraid to work. People are so afraid to just, like, it's like there's things that are in life, and if things could change, great, let's change them. But if we can't, you have to accept them the way they are. And so it's like people that complain about like showering and brushing their teeth, like, baffle me. Like, how are you going to complain that you have to shower and brush your teeth? That is a part of life. If you complain every day, oh, I'm too lazy, I'm too tired to brush my teeth. Like, what is the point of living like, if you start your day and you're like, I'm too lazy to brush my teeth, but you're going to do this for the rest of your life, you might as well get accommodated to doing it and be like, I kind of like brushing my teeth. Because even if you don't, telling yourself you do is better than being like, oh, I'm too lazy and too tired, and now you start your day off every single day for the rest of your life horrible because you want to say, I'm too lazy to do a fucking 2-minute task where you're cleaning your teeth. Like, it's so baffling. Everything in life requires work, everything, right? And anything that's worthwhile getting will take even more work. So you having this mindset of like, oh, it's too hard, I'm too tired, is like, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're just going to keep guaranteeing more and more losses. And then if your life continually gets worse and worse, you become more depressed, or you never become financially free, you never get rich, you never get the car you want, the house you want, the girl you want, whatever. It's like, this was all your fault. it's all based in your mind, and it all starts with the idea of you being reactive rather than proactive, and being negative instead of positive. It's like that. I generally do think there's a very key connection between being negative and reactive, and proactive and positive. Because if you're proactive, you can be like, okay, if I go and get this six-figure job, you have to have a positive mindset to believe that you're going to be able to get it, believe that you're going to be able to find it. You have to, you have to not be like, not hypnotize yourself or whatever, but it's like you need to genuinely believe that you are capable of having a six-figure job. But the negative people, they're like, yeah, it might happen, it might not happen. If I go for it, it's probably not gonna work, so I just have to wait for it to come. It's like, no, the fuck, it's not gonna. You think if you want a six-figure job, so does everybody else wants a six-figure job. You think you're gonna get it waiting for it, rather than all the people who are just actively working for it and like talking to the CEOs, learning all the skills, getting the knowledge, and just actively going for what they actually want. It's like, it's actually baffling how some humans are, and that's why we're in a day and age where it's so much easier to be better than like literally 95% of people. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, 95% of people are so fucking lazy and tired and scared to do work that you can easily beat out the competition and be in the top 5% of the world, if anything, or like whatever, in your local state, in the United States, wherever country you're from, as long as you just are not afraid to do work. And again, if it's something that's required in life, if you can't change it, accept it and just be happy to do it. Brushing your teeth, showering, eating right, going to the gym. It's like these things, like eating right and going to the gym is not necessary, but for you to be healthy and live a long, like prosperous life, you should be doing those things, especially if you're working an office job and you're not sitting around, eating. Nobody complains about, like, even, there's people who complain about eating. And it's like, I understand if you're like, oh, I have too much work to eat or whatever, but it's like, oh, I'm too lazy to chew. Are you fucking kidding me? Too lazy to chew? You want your body not to operate? You want your body not to get fuel from the food sources? I don't know. Some people are just bums. That's how I'm gonna call it that. Some people are bums, and it's so much easier to be better than 95% of people just by switching to a proactive mindset, and you need to apply it to all parts of your life. Whatever aspects and goals that you have, whatever aspects of life and goals that you have in those aspects of life or whatever, you can easily change it and make yourself achieve those goals a little bit faster or with a more positive mindset just by being proactive. Understand proactivity is the way, and that you need to figure out how can I be more proactive and then just actively work towards that.